this edition of the Laurel Firewatch. I'm your host, Richard Blankenship, and we'd like to welcome you back to the Laurel Volunteer Fire Department today. Today we're going to have an interview with DJ Hall, the chief of the department. DJ responded on a townhouse fire in Howard County back in August of this year, and they had a working fire at that incident, and while they were making egress to the second floor, the stairs gave away and a firefighter fell through the floors, was trapped in the floor, and he also burned his hands on the rail that was extremely hot and had third-degree burns on his hand. DJ was awarded a citation from the chief of the Prince George's County Fire and EMS Department, Mark Bayshore, for the actions that he have taken to remove his firefighter from the entrapment. And DJ, we congratulate you on your award that you received. We're also today we're going to interview Jim Lodger. Every year at our banquet, we choose a firefighter of the year. It's a anonymous vote from the membership. They select who they think has done an outstanding job for this department, and then the mayor at the banquet will give that award out to the recipient, whoever the department has chosen for that award. And this year, Jim Lodger was awarded the firefighter of the year. I've known Jimmy for a long time. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here today. He's sick. But I don't think the award could have went to anybody better. Jimmy's been around for a long, long time. I had the pleasure when I was the chief of this department for Jimmy to be a captain under my command. Jimmy's a good firefighter. He's an excellent dad and husband. Like I said, Jimmy's been a member of this department well over 25 years. He's a life member of this department. Jimmy's dedicated a lot of his life to this organization. And again, Jimmy, for you, pal, the award was well worth it. We're going to talk a little bit today about tools of the trade. Zach Blankenship is going to go over some tools that we use. He'll be in full turnout gear. He'll explain to you how important it is for him to wear his full protective equipment, why it's important to have that, what the tools that we use here. Every tool that we have here that we use in this department has a separate purpose. And we have tools for prying. We have tools for pushing and pulling. They have to be trained on all these tools, how to use them properly and safely. We have also today, we have firefighter Katie Staub is going to talk to you about Halloween safety. How important it is to have that, to understand that, not to have it, but understand when you're out here with the small children, you know, to make sure that they're safe and then have a happy Halloween. That's what we're looking for. And we're going to also interview today, we're going to interview Sergeant David Pierce. Dave's been around for a little while. Dave came up through the ranks as a firefighter and all that. This year he was appointed as a sergeant for the department. I've known Dave for a number of years now. I think it was a good choice to put him in there. We'd like to take some of our younger members like Dave that's learning to go up through the chain of command and give him the position for trial. And so far I think he's done an outstanding job. If he didn't do an outstanding job, you sure would hear about it, because that's just the way these guys are. They want to make sure that they got the best trained people in the position. And so far, I've heard nothing but good, positive information on him, and I'm thinking, like I say, he's going to do a good job for us. Dave, I'd like to welcome you to the show. I appreciate you taking the time out today to come in and interview with us a little bit just about your position. How long have you been a member of the Laurel Fire Department?
I've been a member of the Laurel Fire Department for 10 years, since January 2005.
And you're also an EMT as well?
Yes, sir.
So that means you get to drive and ride the ambulance?
Yep, get to drive and ride the ambulance and also the fire apparatus.
So what made you get interested and want to be a sergeant this year?
I've had a lot of members of the department approach me and ask me to become an officer this year, with having the previous experience as a senior firefighter. A lot of my peers told me it was time for me to step up to a leadership position, and this year I decided to follow through with that.
Good. I'm glad to see you're stepping up to the plate, because we need young people like yourself to get up here and fill these positions, because you know you're a leader. That's where you are now. You went from a firefighter position, which is hands and doing everything and getting into it, now where you got to be the leader and do the direction. You also became a driver this year too, didn't you, on the engine?
Yeah, I also became a technician.
Good, good. That's important to have. We're always short sometime with drivers, and again, it's a good thing to have young guys like Dave that can come up here and give us the time and to do that. We need his support. Do you have any plans in the future to go up to lieutenant or anything like that?
I've put some consideration into the thought of stepping up in the ranks to lieutenant next year. It all depends on what the membership would like to do, since it is a voted and not an appointed position by the chief's office. It's voted by the membership, and if we'll find out when in January when the elections come around.
Sure. So far, you've been a sergeant now since January this year. What do you think so far? What kind of experience have you gained so far by doing this?
It's just like being a senior firefighter. There's a little bit more responsibility, but I'd personally say it's probably about the same.
Yeah.
Just a little more leadership and a little more paperwork per se. But
is it what you expected when you took the position?
Honestly, I think it's a little easier than what I thought it was going to be. So that was kind of a help to me.
Yeah.
But I believe it's a little easier than what I originally intended it to be.
Okay. So how about down in the future, 10, 15 years from now, maybe you want to be a chief officer?
Like I said, it all depends on membership and how they, I'm going to do the best of my abilities to fulfill the office that, if I'm holding an office position, I'll do that. And like I said, it all depends on what the membership decides.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm not here as often as I like to be, but I do get around and I do listen to people talk, and I haven't heard nothing but positive information on you. So it's obvious you're doing a good job with the membership, because like I said, knowing these people here, if you wasn't doing a good job, you would definitely know it. They would tell you. And that's a good feedback sometimes to hear what people are saying. And to be an officer, no matter if you're a sergeant or a chief, you got to be a good listener. If you're a good listener, people will tell you what's working and what ain't working.
Yep.
So, okay, Dave, I appreciate your time. Like I told you, it wouldn't take too long today. But I wish you well, and I hope in January that you do become a lieutenant, because I think you deserve it. And I'd like to see you go up through the ranks.
Right,
thank you, sir. Like I stated earlier in the program here today, that our chief, DJ Hall, did receive a unit citation or an award from the chief of the Prince George's County Fire Department, Mark Bayshore. It's an honor for him to receive that. Sometimes we don't get the recognition that we deserve sometimes, but when we do get it, it looks good on our department, and it looks well on DJ as well.
Thank you for joining us this morning. We're here today to recognize the efforts of one individual that was part of a team. A lot of times you hear about the bad stuff. Every once in a while we get to recognize some of the good stuff. And every once in a while something really important happens that really deserves an opportunity to take more than just a minute out of your day to recognize. And in this case, we're here to recognize Dwayne Hull, volunteer chief from Laurel Volunteer Fire Department #1, Prince George's County Station 810. And I'll read the letter in a minute, but in the incident I was actually listening to it was an incident not in Prince George's County. It's an incident in Howard County, Maryland, where a fire captain, Fletcher, standing next to me over here, fell through the floor of a burning townhouse. And to make it a long story short, Chief Hall was able to pull Captain Fletcher out of that hole. Captain Fletcher was in a position where he was unable to activate his pass device to indicate he was in trouble. All he could do was holler to the person that was closest to him. Chief Hull happened to be there. And it's one of those situations where, had those circumstances not come together at the right time, we might be having a different story. So it's really important we make this recognition, and this is just a preliminary recommendation, if you will. Certainly this event will be forwarded to the Valor Awards Committee for further consideration. So to Dwayne Hall, Volunteer Chief, Laurel Volunteer Fire Department #1, congratulations on receiving a Prince George's County Fire and Emergency Medical Services Department Emergency Services Award. Say that 10 times quick. On Sunday, July 12, 2015, you were on board one of the several fire and mess department units that responded for a reported townhouse fire 9418 River Brink Court in Howard County. You entered the structure and proceeded to a second floor where you shut a bedroom door to keep the fire from extending to the hallway. Noticing the stairs were a little bit spongy and fearing they might be compromised, you turned to warn the engine crew. About that time, Captain Fletcher called out that he had fallen waist deep into a hole on the stairs and needed assistance getting out. He had taken hold of a red-hot metal handrail to avoid falling all the way through to the next floor. He was wedged tightly in the hole and unable to reach his radio to call for a mayday. Holding on to his SCBA harness, you pulled him to safety. If not for your quick thinking, Captain Fletcher may have fallen completely through the stairs and sustained more serious injuries. Your performance on this incident, which averted a potentially tragic outcome, was commendable and is worthy of recognition. Therefore, it is my pleasure to present you a Fire EMS Department Emergency Services Award. Your actions reflect well on you personally, the Laurel Volunteer Fire Department, and exemplify the caliber of service the Prince George's County Fire and EMS Department strives to provide. Congratulations.
Thank you.
For the picture side of this,
Yep.
you know what, Mark, let me put the two of them together.
All right. Good.
All right. Anybody have anything else they want to say?
No, I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head when teamwork comes together. It's amazing what we can do. We were working as a team prior to the fall, and during the fall, and even after, we stuck together. So,
Yeah.
sir,
All right.
Thank you.
Very much. Appreciate it. Thank you all for coming out.
On July 15th, we were dispatched to a townhouse fire in the North Laurel section of Howard County. When we arrived on the scene, we found a two-story townhouse at the end of the group. There was fire on both floors, and in the rear of the dwelling, Captain Fletcher from the Prince George's County Fire Department and myself were part of a crew that advanced an attack line through the front door and up to the second floor to extinguish the fire.
Once I got to the top of the steps, without warning, the stairwell collapsed beneath me, obviously making me fall through the stairwell. On my way down, I was fortunate enough to be able to grab onto a metal hand railing and hold myself there until I was able to shout out to Chief Hall that I needed assistance. I was very relieved. Obviously, with the adrenaline rushing, it was a quick pat on the back and a thank you, and then back to getting the work done to extinguish the fire on the second floor.
Okay, we have firefighter Katie Staub with us here this afternoon. And like I told you earlier, we want to talk a little bit about Halloween safety, how important it is to understand that. And it happens every year. The children get all excited, they're out in their costumes, and, you know, they're just wanting to have fun, and we want to make it safe for them. And Katie's going to give us some safety tips on Halloween safety. Katie?
Thank you. So like you said, we want to be safe for Halloween this year, so I just have a couple tips to talk about with your children and your family. If your child has a full face mask, make sure that they can see everything, make sure the eyes are open and they can see around them, they can see anybody coming towards them or a car coming towards them. You want to make sure they're not taking candy from random people. Don't take it from anybody's car or anybody walking on the street, only from people handing it out at their house. You want to make sure that when you are all finished, your mom or dad looks through your candy, make sure none is open or torn. And if you hear a fire truck or ambulance, you want to stay on the sidewalk. Don't run out and get really excited. Just wave as they go by, but let them get by. You don't want to be hurt. You want to have a good Halloween. So just make sure you follow those safety tips and be careful and have a good Halloween.
Yes, we talked last month about my co-host who passed away last year. It'd be a year ago tomorrow that Artie passed away. Artie was my co-host for a number of years, and I miss him very dearly. But today we have Katie here. This is Art's daughter. When we go back into the studio, Katie's going to be my co-host. She's going to take her dad's spot. So Katie, you grew up in the fire department, right?
Yes, I did.
And did he teach you a lot about fire safety?
A lot about it.
And so now you're interested in filling his shoes, huh?
Yes, very interested.
And I'm sure you will do an outstanding job.
Thank you.
It's all family. You know, I'm the pup meister. I'm the man in charge. And so I got to look after her. So, Katie, we're looking forward to see you when we go back to the studio to be my co-host. All right?
All right, I can't wait.
Thank you, dear. Okay, it's getting that time of the year again when the weather's starting to change. It's getting a little cooler. We firing up the furnaces, we get the fireplaces ready. One of the things that you want to do, our safety tip for you today is, if you use your fireplace, you need to have it inspected and you need to have it cleaned before you use it. Over the years, it builds up creosote inside the flue area. It can get extremely hot, and it can also catch on fire. So you want to make sure that you have that inspected and you have it cleaned. And make sure that you burn the proper wood. Get some seasoned wood to burn. And remember also, we also get responses every year for smoke in the house at this time of the year, and come to find out that sometimes people forget to open up the flue and it fills their house up with smoke. So just remember, open up your flue, and again, please have that clean. If your furnace hasn't been serviced in over a year or so, you need to call a contractor in to have them service that and make sure everything's okay. Especially if you have a gas appliance furnace. We know about the carbon monoxide issues. It's odorless, it's tasteless, you can't see it. You want to make sure that your furnace is working properly. Have that serviced. Also, we're getting ready to go into daylight saving time. And we know every 6 months, when we change the clock, we change the batteries on our smoke alarms. We need to do that. If you cannot change the battery yourself, because you don't have the proper tools, you don't have a ladder to get to it, or you're not capable of doing it, please do not hesitate to contact the fire department. We will come out and assist you to do that at no problem. Also, the city's fire marshal's office, we are willing to come out to do that as well. As an inspector through the city, and many times I check smoke detectors. I check them every time I go in and do an inspection. Sometimes it's very frustrating to me that I go in, the smoke detector is either covered up, taken down, or no operating unit because the battery has been taken out. Please, I can't make you understand how important it is to have an operating smoke alarm in your house. The slogan this year is, listen to the beep where you sleep. Okay, you have young children. We always try to teach the children to sleep with the doors closed. What you need to do is get your children, put them in a room, sound the smoke alarm, let them hear it sound with the door open. And then you need to close the door, let them listen to the sound of what it sounds like with the doors closed. Again, the slogan for this year is, listen to the beep where you sleep. It's very, very important to have that. And again, if you cannot do that, if you cannot put a battery into the thing, please, I beg you, do not hesitate to give us a call. We'll be happy to come out and do that for you. Alrighty? Thank you. Okay, now we're going to talk to Zach Blankenship. He's going to go over it with us. Yes, last name is Blankenship, my grandson. Taught him well, and you better do a good job on this interview here. But we talk about tools of the trade. There's various tools that we have on our apparatus that we use for many reasons, for opening up a door, taking out a window, opening up a roof. And one of the things that our firefighters have to do, they have to be trained to use these tools correctly. Because some of these tools, like I said, are used for pushing or pulling. If you don't use it for the right job, the tool can break. It can also cause damage to the tool, or it can also injure the firefighter, and that's what we want to make sure that doesn't happen. That's why we train on these tools. And what we try to do monthly when we bring you the tool of the trade, just to let you see some of the tools that we use. They're very expensive tools. You know, most of these that we'll go over, they're handmade and stuff like that. And again, we have to train on those all the time, and that's what we do. So Zach, what tool do you have with you today?
This is a pike pole, New York hook style version. It's a pushing and pull tool. Used mostly in a full ceiling. After fire, make sure there's no fire in the ceiling or in the walls. You don't use it as a prying tool because it'll probably snap in half. And then, yeah.
Well, I noticed the thing has some funny shaped things at the top of that. What are those for? Was it round and then?
When you get pushed to the ceiling, you twist and pull more ceiling than
okay,
other style hooks. Just cover more ground in the ceiling.
Okay, and you use this tool for just pushing and pulling. You don't pry with this tool?
You don't pry with it.
Okay.
Run risk of breaking the tool or hurting yourself.
Okay. Now, how much does that thing weigh? It looks kind of heavy.
No, it's only about 3 or 4, 5 pounds maybe.
Okay. Now, what would you pull the ceiling for?
In case there were to be fire in the ceiling, get fire in there. That way you don't have to come back later. Check, make sure we get that fire put out.
So it makes it easier for access for the firefighters to get in there?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Now, have you used this tool many times?
Yes, I've been on several instances where I used it, but usually it's more of a senior guy tool, so just a few times.
Oh, okay. And probably in the next month or so, we'll go over some other tools that that we use here as well. Well, Zach, thanks for that information. I'm sure the public would like to know some of the tools that we have and what they're used for. I know they see you guys carrying that stuff around, and they don't have a clue why we do certain things, and that's why we're trying to get out to the public and let them know the reason why we do what we do.
Good.
All right. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, well, we want to thank you for watching today. If you have any questions or anything you might want to hear about or see, just leave us a message on our website. It's laurelvfd.org. We'll be happy to talk about it or answer a question for you, and we'll see you next month on the Firewatch.